So over the summer, I grinded all the way through Default, Adventure, and Apocalypse Plus all over again because I kind of lost my Microsoft account. So I created a new one, and I had to rebuy Minecraft Dungeons, and it sucked. And therefore, I had to go through all the pain of re-grinding all of my stuff back to what it used to be, and then also going through the pain of completing what is Apocalypse Plus. Now, I was originally planning to see how long it would take to complete Default, Adventure, Apocalypse, and Apocalypse Plus, to see how long it would take to beat all of that, to estimate the amount of time, just to see how long it would take on average for someone to beat Apocalypse and Apocalypse Plus. Now, I was able to do that accurately with default mode because obviously when playing default mode, you only need to do like a solid one time through of each of the levels. The difficulty doesn't scale that much, you can basically just solo it completely even. But on adventure mode, it gets a little bit harder to estimate the average. Then you get into apocalypse mode. And this is really where, if you have already played the game, you can really thrive where other players that just got to apocalypse mode really can't, because there are a lot of strategies that just become a must-know when you get to apocalypse mode. So that makes it really hard to estimate how long it would take you to beat Apocalypse. Now, how long did it take me personally to beat it? It took me around 30 hours worth of footage to go all the way from default mode through Apocalypse Plus. But here's the thing, for a few hours of that footage, 1 or 2 good hours, I was leveling up much faster than if I were just playing the game solo, because I was playing it with my maxed out friend at his house. So it sort of just becomes an extremely difficult pain to have to try and analyze, okay, how long would it have taken me to get this gear by myself, blah blah blah, what if I had gotten the right gear? And the honest answer is, it could take you anywhere from 7 hours all the way up to technically infinite with the worst luck. And that is with the utilization of advanced tactics, which I'm going to be explaining in this video. Now today I'm going to be explaining speedrunning, which is the most common advanced tactic that is used. However, it may take a while to memorize all of the best locations to speedrun and all of these secret chests. Now speedrunning is basically just completing the game as fast as you can. And the way this is utilized in Minecraft Dungeons is usually with either artifact chests, which you can get once per run at the end of every single level, and quick chest runs, where there are many chests on a single level, and you can just skip through all the mobs and get those easily, giving you free easy loot. Now, the way you'd be skipping through all of the mobs is you'd be using a thing called a ghost cloak, which doesn't unlock until Apocalypse. But even just 3 ghost cloaks might not be enough to outrun pillagers. So you'd also need boots of swiftness, or at minimum a deathcap mushroom. For gear, you would also need an armor piece that gives you artifact cooldown reduction, such as the evocation robe. A note is that ghost cloaks of any level will work for any part of Apocalypse and Apocalypse Plus up to tier 9. But after 9, your ghost cloaks will have to be upgraded, as mob speed will increase Vindicators' speeds and allow them to actually hit you as you run. Now, the actual method for speedrunning is quite simple. All you have to do is alternate between ghost cloaks and spam the 3rd slot, which will have either a deathcap mushroom or boots of swiftness. Next up, you want to speedrun levels that give you the maximum amount of loot. Now, my personal opinion is to try to avoid levels that have a lot of gates, or areas where you need to stop to beat up mobs, and avoid levels that have bosses at the end. And of course, the obvious one is to choose levels that have a lot of loot. Now, the one that I personally speedrun the most is Soggy Swamp, and let me explain why. Even though it has 2 gates, 3 out of 4 of the random gates that are chosen can be completely skipped, allowing you to most likely bypass 2 sections where mobs would normally spawn and get that obsidian chest in under 2 minutes. However, there are a few levels that could be worth the gates just for the loot, aka the Desert Crypts, which the loot can vary depending on your POV. That's right, depending on which angle in 3D you are, you have a chance to be able to open up a door with an obsidian or gold chest, which is insanely good, but at the same time, at least half the time I would get the wrong POV. Now, even if you miss out on the obsidian chest after the gateway, you can still go up to a platform next to it to get a free chest. The other level besides Soggy Swamp that I recommended for speedrunning, Archhaven, is good for speedrunning because it has so many secret chests, specifically in a small bit of the caverns near the end of the level. Immediately after going into the caverns, there will be a small ledge where if you get close enough to it, a chest will spawn. You'll simply be able to open up the chest and grab all of the loot from a single position on the ground. A little ways down again, there will be another thing similar, except instead of grabbing this loot from a certain position on the ground, you'll have to dodge up onto the platform in order to actually open the chest. Now, these two levels with secret chest locations can greatly increase the amount of loot that you will or will not get during a speedrun, so it's important that you memorize the locations of each one. And of course, it's also good to memorize how you can skip the gates and Soggy Swamp so that you can get that free obsidian chest in under 2 minutes. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, it really helps, and maybe comment down below on any extra tips that you have for speedrunning that I should have included. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.